Hi, I'm Holly, and with my sister Heather, you're listening to Haunted Family Podcast, a weekly podcast about the paranormal, unsolved mysteries, and even some true crime. And this week is
Holly's favorite type of episode.
Yes, we've been doing a lot of that lately.
You've been picking them.
Okay, our last unsolved mystery was actually really good. This one, not so much, and I regretted it almost immediately.
Okay. Can I just say that I have no 100% hard evidence? Of course, the people who actually are making the TV show about Oak Island also have no 100% hard evidence. But I am convinced that we are related to early settlers of Oak Island.
Oh, yes. I thought that too. As soon as I started researching, I was like, And
that has colored my beliefs about what is going on at Oak Island.
Yeah, same.
Just knowing our family, particularly knowing those two branches of our family tree.
Yeah.
Colored how I feel, what I feel is going on there.
And we'll get to that.
Yes. But we actually did not discuss this in advance. So it's very interesting that both me and Holly are on the same page when it comes to our family in Oak Island.
Yeah, and actually this was not chosen because we suspected that it was settled.
I knew one party's participation in this. I did not know the other until we started researching it.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those things that we will have to do some genealogy to trace it all back, but I'm with you. I'm fully convinced that we're related to these people.
Yeah, we just did not have enough time this week to do a deep dive in our family tree to trace this back, but
so I guess cat's out of the bag that we are talking about Oak Island.
The mysterious and legendary Oak Island.
Yes. Okay.
Now, I will say that I feel that the real money pit on Oak Island is the island itself.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Because so many people, and literally, go to their website, and I guess it's actually ran by the people who are digging there at Oak Island. OakIslandMystery.com. Exhaustive pages and pages of, like, actual scanned research. But, like, I've just lost count of people who have, been involved in this, and people who have lost everything, some including their lives, to this island.
Yeah. Okay. So, the legend. It all started in 1795 when Dan McGinnis,
A young entrepreneuring sprout.
Yes. Okay, so in my research, I've got his age at like a couple of different things. So some say he was a teenager, some say he was up into his 40s.
Yeah. I found the same thing. So if he's like the McGinnises that we are related to, being up in his 40s is still being a teenager.
Exactly. So he's on this island, and he finds a depression in the ground
about 13 feet wide.
Yeah, and this is a small island. It is 1 mile long and a half a mile wide.
I had it at about 140 acres in total, and it hadn't been settled long. The first white European settlers got there about 1759. Now that's settled by Europeans. Native Americans had been in that area for probably thousands of years before that. And then in about 1761, a whole mass of people from Massachusetts, came to the island. And the major families that came to the island were the Monroes, the Lynches, the Seacombs, and the Young family. Now, I found that very interesting because fast forward through time and the Youngs and the McGinnises actually intermarry.
Yeah, we are related to the Youngs and the McGinnises.
Yes. So European-ish settlers hadn't been on this island very long.
Right. So he sees this depression in the ground and what looks like oak trees around it have been cut down.
He notices a tackle block hanging in a tree, and that is used for raising and lowering things.
Yeah. Yeah, at first I read that as like a legitimate tackle box, and I was like, what? But then, like in other locations, it was said to be a rope and pulley, which makes a whole lot more sense.
Yes. We actually have a couple here that we've been meaning to hang in the barn area to make pulling hay up easier, but we've not yet, and it's just pretty easier. It's just as easy for someone to lift the hay from the back of a truck up into the window and me grab it. So, oh well.
Okay, so let's go with young Daniel was 13 years old.
Or 40.
Or 40.
No matter.
So he starts to dig because he thinks, oh yeah, there's got to be treasure here. He doesn't dig that day. He just finds it. He comes back the next day.
Brings back some friends.
Yeah, John Smith, age 19, and Anthony Vaughn, age 16. They find the area and they start digging. And they get about 2 feet down and they encounter some flat stones.
I read in my notes that it was slate.
Yeah.
That wasn't native there, but was native to like 2 miles away.
Right.
So not so far that it couldn't easily be brought there.
Right. So then they keep digging and they notice that the sides are hard clay and it's showing pick marks. And at 10 feet down, there's a platform of rotting oak logs. So below that, they see a gap. They dig down, and then there's more wood. So they dig, coming across the layers of, wood, clay, blah, blah, blah. They get down to about 25 feet, digging for several weeks, and they quit. And they go get help. So John Smith buys up some lots on this island. He at first he buys lot 18 where the pit is, and then he later buys 15, 16, 17, 19, and 20. And he actually lives there until he dies in 1857. He was pretty damn old.
Yep.
Okay, so the 3 boys, they convince Simon Lenz of Truro, who is related to Vaughn's dad, to form the Onslow Company with them. And they get some investors, including the sheriff, and they start digging. So they find notches every 10 feet below where there was an oak platform, they say. And at 30 feet, they find charcoal. At 40 feet, there's a putty. And okay, my research says that the putty could be for sealing air vents. But at this point, there's a lot of limestone in there too. And I don't know. I think that the putty could be formed with the limestone mixing with water.
Yeah.
But they're not digging like it's an archaeological find or anything. They're literally just barreling in. So
because I think there's treasure or something.
Right, because so they're not keeping anything. They're not like preserving anything that they encounter at this point. So we don't know really what kind of putty it was. They get down about 90 feet.
And then that again, we're also just working off of their accounts recorded later.
Right, and it's all like none of it is really written down. So it's just complete word of mouth. It's like playing the telephone game. Okay, so they get about 90 feet down. And there's a large stone slab that they think weighs between 175 and 500 pounds. And it's 2 to 3 feet in inches. 2 to 3 feet in inches. It's 2 to 3 feet by another foot. So it's pretty big. And they think that it's got an encoded message on it. But water starts seeping in. They probe the ground with an iron bar at 98 feet and it strikes another wooden platform. So they give up for the day.
Now see, in my research, I didn't find that the stone they found was that big. What I read was that it was about 3 feet by 1 foot. There are so many different accounts of what's been found and when it's found and where it was found.
Right. And we don't have the stone slab.
No. There is, if you go to the website, Oak Island Mystery, you can see I pulled it up on my computer because I didn't want to, waste, having it on like my phone or printing it out or anything. What they say the rock looked like and what they claim a code breaker deciphered it and had to add extra letters to make it work, said it came out to be.
Which was 40 feet below 2 million pounds lie buried.
Yes.
So they try bailing out the water because the pit has started filling with water. And it's not working. So, the fall, the Onslow Company pays a Mr. Mosher 80 pounds to run a water pump. Well, that doesn't really work because the pump bursts. And they just give up for the year. Okay, so they come back the next summer. And the Onslow Company digs a new shaft 14 feet southeast.
Yeah. Now, take consideration, if you're unfamiliar with Oak Island, this is happening in Nova Scotia. So, winter.
Yeah.
You can't really work in winter. They have a very short amount of time, especially in this time period that we're talking about right now, where you can actually do much work.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd actually said that it was in Nova Scotia.
No, we didn't. So, they get down about 110 feet and then start a horizontal tunnel towards the main tunnel. And then after about 12 feet, it floods, filling both pits. They run out of money. They go out of business and give up the treasure hunt. So about 40 years later, another company is formed, the Truro Company. And in this company, there's Anthony Vaughn, Dr. David Barnes Lenz, John Gamble, Adams Tupper, Robert Krillman, and then John McCulley. And the foreman is James Pitbledo. I'm probably saying his name wrong. Sorry. December of that year, Samuel Ball, who owned 36 acres of Oak Island, died. And he gives his portion of the property to Isaac Butler, who changes his name to Isaac Ball. 4 years later, the Truro Company begins operations, and they're trying to clear out the main pit. They get down about 86 feet, but water's just coming in, and they're trying to get the water out.
Basically, the money pit is a well.
Yeah, which I think is kind of funny because people are like, oh, it's a booby trap. No. Obviously, these people don't have well water because, I mean, like, where we grew up, like, everybody has well water. You just dig a hole in the ground and then boom, there's water.
Now, I did find on a website, what was the website? Unmuseum.org. And I don't know where he got his information from because I just don't. I think it's from a book or something. That the water from the shafts actually come from a fake beach that was created by layering beach stones covered in eelgrass that are covered in coconut fiber and then sand to conceal 5 box drains that feed the shaft.
That's a lot of effort.
That is. And that also seems very impractical for someone just trying to hide some gold.
Okay.
Or treasure.
Exactly. This is my... I mean, I know we're not even up to the 1900s yet, but I just feel like I need to say this. This is insane. They have dug hundreds of feet with equipment
far more advanced than the people who would have buried anything on this island would have had.
Exactly. The people who would have buried the treasure would have had a shovel.
Shovels and pickaxes.
Yeah, they're not going to go down that far. I mean, basically at this point, the person would have had to have constructed the island.
The whole island. Not just the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that the guys who are on Oak Island digging now are making a good amount of money from the History Channel show. I think it's still on the History Channel. I don't know. I just catch it every now and then. But I think that it's well past the time that they need to sit back and look at this all objectively.
Yeah.
Because their big finds that they swear they find are not actually big finds. If there was something on this island, something big, something tangible, there would have been a major, major discovery before now.
Right. Well, we'll just say the Truro Company goes out of business in 1854. They run out of money. But people still keep digging. Then the Oak Island Association is formed. And they dig from 1863 to 1865. And I don't think any of these people found anything. Do you have any record of that?
I don't have any record of that. What they may have found or may not have found.
Actually, so the Oak Island Association, they do find a few things. They found 3 yellow painted dishes, a spruce slab with a mining auger hole in it, and I think that's it.
Yeah. Their website has an interactive map that takes you to the big landmarks of the website of their website of the island, like the money pit and the flood tunnel system, borehole 10X, which supposedly has tantalizing clues. Where the inscribed stone was found, the stone triangle, Nolan's Cross, which is 6 boulders that they say form a cross on the island. But that's the thing. You can also make something out of almost anything.
Right.
Because your brain is wired to find patterns.
That's true. In 1897, at 153 feet down, they found a tiny ball. And they found some parchment that was extracted from their auger bit. 1967, they found some scissors.
But I'm looking at it this way. All these years, so many people digging on the island, do we know what's been contaminated and what's not at this point?
No, and I would say a good portion of it is completely contaminated because, like I said, they did not really keep good records of what was found. They didn't even keep what was found. We don't even have the stone tablet thing. Honestly, it's not until recently with the History Channel and the Curse of Oak Island that really anything scientific is attempting to take place.
Yeah. And I have to say, that's one thing I do respect about the TV show is that they are at least attempting to look at this through a scientific lens.
Yeah.
But I think it's well past time that people objectively look at Oak Island and say, maybe this is the longest hoax in history.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If we can't get at whatever is supposedly on this island with all the tools and equipment that we have at our disposal today,
how in the hell did people who bury in it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you go on their website, they do have a detailed list of what evidence they found and when it was found. And I'm not overly impressed by any of it.
No, me either. But there's lots of really good theories about what could be there.
If you go onto the their website and you're looking through the archive on artifacts found, it'll tell you firsthand, secondhand. They don't have that filled in for a lot of artifacts. When it was supposedly found, where it was supposedly found. I just pulled up a random one. A bit of China blue and gold supposedly found by the Oak Island Treasure Company in 1933. 14 feet from the 1931 Chappelle shaft at below the depth of 123 feet. And that's all the information they have on it. I would like to see a picture of the stuff they found, if they still have it, if it's,
I'm sure they don't have it.
Yeah. But things like that, I think, are important. I think if, you're going to say we have this evidence, then it needs to be made available.
I mean, honestly, I feel like everything that they have found,
especially considering there has been so many different people on this island digging,
could just
that there's so much, there's so much risk of contamination. We don't know if the early people who was digging that pit just tossed their broken dishes while they were digging, because they wasn't looking at it as an archaeological dig. They were looking at it as, we're going to find some treasure right now.
Right.
So I look at all of that as, it could have been left by other people that was there before them. Not so much someone who buried treasure.
Right. So, I mean, I kind of feel like all the stories of Oak Island, and even the show, and the books, and all of it could be summed up into nothing to see here, people. Move along.
I think really it could. I mean, I think if you probably go up on the hill behind my house and start digging, you'd probably find, weird things too that would lead you to believe there's treasure buried on my hill. There's not.
You know what? I'm going to start digging.
I mean, you might find some weird artifacts, because there's a good likelihood that early white settlers to eastern Kentucky traipsed right through here. Native Americans probably camped near here at some point. But is there silver or gold buried here? I don't know. Oh my God. Maybe this place is really the location of the Swiss silver mine.
Yes, that's it. I know, isn't it funny? I'm kind of like, well, that's all I got, because I think this is a gigantic hoax.
I tried to go into this open-minded. I really did.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 6 people died for nothing. But see, there's a legend that 7 people have to die before you can find the true treasure on Oak Island. But I'm also kind of like, okay, well, all of these stories are handed down verbally. Was it really 7, or have we just increased the number over the years?
Yeah. To make our own.
Right, to justify why we've not actually found anything of substance. But, maybe there was. Let's just go out on a limb here and say maybe there was a treasure. I don't think it would be 154 feet down, because the people digging would not be able to dig 150 feet down. But in addition to that, we have barreled in with augers and backhoes and shovels and, all these heavy equipment and pumps, and we flooded it. And if there was a treasure, it's destroyed.
Very likely.
I mean, they've ruined this island.
Some of the things that they claim they have found is a Roman sword. That is something you can see. They have pictures of it. Drawings with Portuguese carvings on it. And that's another thing. The things that they do say they found, like that, are disjointed. And they don't make sense.
Well,
like what I would think somebody who is, now realizing that there's nothing there, but we need to keep things going because TV, might throw out.
Right.
I'm not saying they are faking it, but has reality television shows like that faked things in the past?
What? No.
Absolutely.
I mean, okay, we do know that this area was used by people before it was settled. I mean, we know that pirates really were there. But I'm seriously doubting that they're digging 200 feet down with their shovels to bury some treasure that they're going to come back for later. No. Sorry. That's just...
Well, most pirates, when they buried their treasure, did not bury it in, such deep, convoluted ways. Because they needed to just ditch it quick in a safe location so they can come back to it later. They wasn't going to take the time to go through all of that. That would have taken years to put in.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, it's taken decades for them to dig it up.
Yeah. The guys on the show, I'm probably mispronouncing the name, Lagina. He's done good for himself. He's a retired postal worker, Rick Lagina is. And he's now supposedly worth, according to Celebrity Net Worth, like $2 million.
Really?
I know several retired postal workers, and none of them are worth over $1 million.
I don't know anybody that's worth close to $1 million.
I'm sure a lot of that comes from the show. He is I think both him and his brother are producers on the show, so. And that's another thing that makes me question the whole thing. Now, the part of the show, the part of Oak Island that's happening now is because so much is at stake financially for them. They know people have lost all their money there.
They know people have lost their lives.
And they are making money off of this. Through the show. Through, tours of the island. They're making money on it now. So, I don't think that... I'm not saying that they're faking things now, but I'm saying that there is
the stakes are higher.
The stakes are higher. They have a lot to lose if things go belly up on the show. They have to keep the intrigue up. They have to keep the suspense up.
I mean, that's
how long has the show even been going?
With any reality show, you've got to keep the intrigue up. Your viewers are tuning in because this
one of the things
you find something.
That's one of the things I don't like about a lot of paranormal shows. They are so overly dramatic because they want to build intrigue and the scare factor, and it kills it for me.
I know, because if you've ever been on a paranormal investigation, it's not like that. Like,
I actually just did paranormal investigations of a haunted house in our town, and I've helped with paranormal investigations at a haunted battlefield close to here. And one of the first things I do when I get the group together, the public group, is say, how many of you all have watched paranormal shows on television? Ask for a raise of hands. And they say, okay, well, it's nothing like that.
Right. It's really actually kind of boring. And sometimes you don't see anything.
Yeah, of course, at that haunted house and the battlefield, the ghosts are almost always active, so.
Right. I was not with Heather at this last time she was at this house, but I was the first time. And lots of crazy stuff happened. Like the house has no electric to it.
It does now, though.
Right. At the time, it had no electric to it. And the plumbing did not work in the house. But we walked in the door using a skeleton key, oddly enough. And you could hear the water running. But there was no plumbing to the house yet. It's crazy.
Yeah. So there are 6 seasons in on the Oak Island, Curse of Oak Island. 88 episodes. They've got a lot riding on keeping this going.
So how do you think it's going to end?
The show or this mystery?
Okay, both.
I think that the network and people are just going to get tired of the show and it's going to get canceled.
I can't believe
eventually
that it hasn't already after 6 seasons of really nothing.
The legendary curse. I think as long as there's a story, there's going to be some foolish person that's going to throw their money at trying to find it. Yeah. But as of right now, the 2 brothers and a small group of other people own like 78% of the island, and they do tours of the island. So I think they're going to try to, ride this whole Curse of Oak Island thing for as long as they can.
I mean, I don't blame them.
I don't either. They're making money at it.
I, however, don't think that it's cursed. I also don't think that there's a treasure there.
No. So let's get into what I think is actually happening.
Okay.
I know how the Youngs are, and if you are a member of the Young family who is not related to me and Holly,
disregard this.
Yeah. I'm just speaking for the ones that I know. And I know how the McGinnises are. They will do anything to pull a practical joke on somebody.
They absolutely will.
They live for it. They will spare nothing.
And that's where we get that from.
Yeah. So, I think that this all started as a practical joke, as a little playful con, and it has just snowballed.
Right. Dan McGinnis wanted to fake his friends out, and then they got super invested in it, and he was like, okay, let's go along with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. I think that it started out as a joke, and it's been a snowball effect since then.
I agree.
So, let's talk a little bit about what some of the more common theories about. We talked about pirates.
Right.
But what are some of the other people that think is connected to Oak Island?
Okay, so they think that Sir Francis Bacon has stuff there.
Didn't we actually discuss Bacon in an episode in the past?
Maybe.
Yeah. They believe that his manuscripts are there.
Well, that might have been what they I'm going out on a limb here. Might have been what they stabbed with the auger, in which case they ruined it and they'll never find it.
Yeah.
So good job, guys.
Good job. Good job.
Yep. Clap,
as
clap.
Holly says to the girls when they've done something weird.
Or it actually, the good job started when the girls were cheerleaders for a long time, and they went to this cheer camp, and whenever you do anything like good, they would say, good job, and then they'd clap twice.
Yeah. But now it also is morphed into when you do something really weird.
Yeah. So they also think that the Knights Templar took, like, they stayed there and then left some of their religious treasures behind, like the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant.
I'm not like super up on my biblical religious stuff, but isn't the Ark supposed to like kill anybody who touches it that's not worthy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that might be a little hard to hide on an island.
Maybe just a little bit.
Okay, so another thing that they believe might be stashed there is what was on board the Louisbourg pay ship. It was a ship that was en route to Louisbourg to pay for the workmen and contractors who were building the fort at Louisbourg. I'm actually probably mispronouncing that, but I might not be. I don't know.
Well, if you pronounce it like if it was in Kentucky, it'd be Louisbourg.
Yeah.
And if you know Louisville, you would get that joke.
Yeah. It was forced off course, and some believe that it either ran aground and wrecked there, or was overtaken by pirates, and the pirates took the money that was on board. Yeah. So, but I think that if it had ran aground there, we would have already found records of it there.
It wouldn't have been that far down.
No.
Okay, well, the ship, the Conception, I'm probably saying that wrong too. It was also never found.
You know, and I got into a discussion in I know you never read the comment section of news articles.
I don't.
But
oh my God.
I got into a discussion with somebody this week. They were trying to say 2 firefighters disappeared recently. They never returned from a boating trip in Florida. And this person was trying to say that clearly they are faking their own death and have just absconded.
Weird.
And I was like, well, no. The ocean is vast.
That's
and
true.
Things and people get lost in the ocean all the time, never to be found again.
I know. Have they never watched the movie The Guardian?
Oh, God, I love that movie.
I know. So good. I keep trying to talk Emmy into getting a tattoo of a number 2 on her back.
That movie is what changed my mind about... I'm blanking on his name.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yes. I thought he was just a silly actor until then. And then that movie proved to me that he has some acting chops.
Oh, yeah. He's so talented. Okay. Also, things that might be in the money pit. The crown jewels of France.
I actually didn't know the crown jewels of France was missing.
I didn't either. But I guess they are.
It makes sense, though. So, the story goes that as Louis and Marie Antoinette were fleeing Paris, they had with them the crown jewels and their own private and personal jewelry. But when they were captured, they had no jewelry and no treasure with them.
Right.
Dun,
So they
dun,
had exactly
dun.
4 years to get it to the money pit and buried 200
in
feet
an
below?
elaborate system before our little Daniel McGinnis stumbled across it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, actually, Daniel McGinnis discovered the pit in 1795.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm tired.
We need to start recording earlier.
I can't math. Yes, I just for a split second thought that 1795 came before 1791.
Okay, could also have Inca, Maya, or Aztec treasure.
So back to the crown jewels. At that point in time, how long did it take for a boat to get from France to Nova Scotia?
No clue.
It doesn't matter. I don't think that they would have had time at all. I don't.
Right.
I think that's just a silly notion. It shouldn't even be considered.
Right. So with the Inca, the Aztec, or the Mayans, the theory is that they built the elaborate system and buried their treasure there.
Why?
I don't know. Why not? I mean, don't
I
you
mean,
want to
when-
go bury a treasure in Canada?
No, because, I mean, there are complete lost cities in South America that the rainforest has swallowed up. So why would they sail all the way to the frozen North Canada? It wasn't Canada at the time. And I know Canada's not always frozen. I'm making a point here, people. To bury their treasure so far away from them.
No clue.
I mean, and I understand, yes, that all indigenous people are brothers and sisters, but do you really want to trust your brothers and sisters that are, half a world away with your treasure?
No.
No, you don't. That's illogical.
Okay, how about it contains the treasure from the Cathedral of St. Andrews?
No.
Well, none of these, it all sounds reaching. Sorry.
I mean, because I think that, no, it's not logical to me. It's not. It's not logical to me that any of this stuff would be buried in such an elaborate and weird way on an obscure little island.
Yeah. I'm with
in
you.
a bay in Nova Scotia.
I say it is one of the biggest hoaxes of all times.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, maybe I think that Daniel McGinnis probably saw a natural depression in the ground.
Yes.
That maybe at one time was a well. Maybe it was just a naturally occurring weird thing in the ground.
Right, like a sinkhole maybe.
Yeah. One theory that they pose on the website O'Connell Mysteries that I actually do kind of agree with, that it was a dry dock for pirates. I think that's kind of logical.
Yeah.
That the whole island was. To me, that would make sense.
Right.
That this little obscure island was a dry dock for pirates. And they said that if that's the case, the money pit could have been the side of a windmill with like water pumping station.
Okay, I totally go with that theory.
That would make sense to me. that seems more logical than any of these other cockamamie, weird, the crown jewels of France got here in 4 years theories.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I think we probably ranted a little bit too much in this episode, but I just think it is so sad that so many people have invested so much time and money and effort into what is very likely to be nothing.
I know. I agree.
Now I got my dander up. I'm tired.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we went to Red River Gorge and Natural Bridge yesterday, so my legs they gotta work out. But we went there because in my last YouTube video, I discussed a possible Wendigo sighting at Natural Bridge State Park.
Really?
Yes. No worries. While I was there was no Wendigo sightings. Although, if one had popped up, there would have been a lot of people for him to choose from. And if you decide to go to Natural Bridge State Park, I'm really going to recommend the birthday cake fudge.
I'm probably not going, so.
Well, we normally go for my birthday, which is late September, but we're probably going to be out of the state, maybe. Might have said too much already.
Loser.
So.
Well, do we have a stupid criminal?
We pick on Florida man a lot. But this right here is the most Florida woman thing I've ever heard in my life.
Okay.
Officials say Florida woman pulled a small alligator from her yoga pants during a traffic stop.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Apparently, she got pulled over in Charlotte County, Florida. The driver was 22-year-old Michael Clemens, told the deputy that he and his girlfriend were collecting frogs and snakes just under the overpass. And then he gave the cop permission to check their bags. If you're doing illegal stuff, don't ever give them permission to check your stuff, because they will.
Yeah.
And then you will go to jail. Wait until they get a warrant. Or don't, because, that just makes cops' jobs easier, and my cop friends really like it when you make their job easier.
Yeah, so don't do that. Don't make it easier.
Yeah. The deputy found 41 three-striped turtles in, of all things, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle backpack.
Well, of course. Where else would you stick it?
I mean, if I'm going to be illegally catching turtles, I'm putting them in a Ninja Turtle backpack. I love me some Ninja Turtles. And actually, Holly has this mug out on her shop right now, cat hair glitter, that the cat looks like my precious little shredder that I had when I was little.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I put up a lot of new stuff in the last couple days, so you should definitely check it out. But I'll drop a link in the show notes, but it's cat hair glitter on Etsy. Shameless plug.
So then the cop asked if they had anything else, and Ariel McShann Lee Choir, probably mispronouncing her last name, I'm sorry lady, reaches in and pulls a 1 foot long alligator from her yoga pants.
I mean, doesn't
they don't say
I've not yoga pants?
Yeah, I've not seen if they had its mouth taped shut or anything, but I mean, I guess inside the yoga pants it's gonna be pretty constricting. But listen, maybe I just wear my yoga pants too tight, but I don't think I could fit an alligator in there. And if I could fit an alligator in there, I don't know if I would want to fit an alligator in there.
I don't think I'd want an alligator in my pants.
I loved watching Clarissa Explained Us All, and she had that little alligator in her room. But I don't think I want an alligator. And I especially don't want an alligator in my pants.
I mean, they're kind of cute, but...
Oh, they're precious looking. But they're also dangerous. Like, seriously, y'all, when I went to Florida, all I wanted was to see an alligator. And like in the wild, not like in a contained area. And finally, as we were leaving, I saw one at a rest stop. Actually, I saw like 6 at a rest stop. Yeah. But they were still kind of in containment because the rest stop butted up against a wildlife area. So they were inside the fenced area of the wildlife area. So, but they were swimming around in the pond and they were happy.
How cute.
And by swimming around, I mean, most of them were really still. Like, you could just see their eyeballs.
Uh-huh.
And then one decided that he was going to go to the shore. Oh my God, those things can move freaky fast. It was fun. Yeah,
Cool.
but I still ain't sticking one in my pants.
No.
Moral of this episode: don't put alligators in your pants, and don't sink all your money into treasure hunting.
Right.
Unless you're 100% sure that the treasure's there.
Right. And don't destroy the treasure on the off chance that there is treasure.
Yeah.
So, also, moral of this episode, go to our YouTube channel because Heather has a new episode up every week that's different from our podcast episode.
Yeah.
So
I think I'll probably end up getting 2 episodes up this week coming up.
Awesome. So
yeah, some weeks you get 2, some weeks you just get 1.
Also, visit my Etsy shop, Cat Hair Glitter, and Olivia Beth Boutique. And, yeah, there's lots of good stuff. And if you don't see anything you like, just send me a message, and I might be able to create it.
Yeah. She's pretty good at that.
I am pretty crafty. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.